Hello and welcome back to another week of Sambo iRacing. We're here at Thruxton circuit in the Ferrari 296, which is the Ferrari Challenge Edition with the fixed setup, and we are here for another track guide. If you're new to my channel, what we do is a hot lap and breakdown, and we're back in the cockpit one final time. Brake bias is shown on the dashboard, and this was late in a stint with low fuel. Right, let's start the hot lap. Okay, let's get started. So we go through the finish line, we go up to fourth, tiny little lift into turn one. Holy understeer. And now we're looking for that 100-meter marker, and we brake almost up to 95%, drop it down to second, clip this inside corner. Then we're doing a lift here through three, back on the gas, tiny little lift this time into four. Now we're just trying to get all that power down in a straight line. Again, another little lift, very, very slight. And now we come off the gas lightly on the brakes, just the weight of my big toe on there, as you can see in the telemetry graph. But absolutely flatten out all the way through to the final chicane. We've put the corner here using the extra track, and we finish nice and wide on the extra track they put out there for us. Now, what is, I believe, the hardest chicane on the simulation, looking for the 50-meter board. Brake hard. Trail it off all the way down to second gear at that first apex, cut that middle apex, now trying to get the power down without sliding too much, and open across the line in a 107.627. Right, let's do the breakdown. Right, breakdown lap. So, as we turn into turn one here, we're just going to do a very small lift, as you can see. I drop it down very briefly, down to sort of 30%, and then immediately back up. I don't actually decide to hump this first corner, this first curve. Just miss it. But then we're hitting the next three. So next braking marker, just before the 100-meter board. So as we get there, we're going to brake up to about 85, 95% there briefly, then trail that off down to the first apex. I drop it down to second. I'm wanting to mount that curve, not hump it. Use the wrong thing there. Then we're back up to full power, and then as we turn in, we do a lift down to nothing, as you can see, and then once the car's settled, we're back on the gas. We get back up to full power, and then we do another lift, and then we get back on the gas as we are mounting the curve. So it was quite tricky, but the Ferrari did deal with the curves a lot better than I was expecting. Now, as we come into turn 5, Noble, so as we go over that apex on the right-hand side that you can just see there, we're going to do a very small lift, and then we get back on the gas nice and early. And we do mount the curb there. God knows how the tyres feel at the end of all this, but it certainly didn't mind too much. Right, we start our lift just as we come to this extra dark piece of tarmac, this newly laid tarmac that they've got here. So we come off the gas and we go onto the brake, sort of, what, 15%, and then it's a long trail off, almost down to nothing. So as you can see, I go down to 3%, and then it's just as we start the new tarmac on the inside, that's when I start getting back on the gas, and we go back up to 100%. So just before, we've got this multicolored inside curving here. You don't want to hit that too hard, because if you do, it's just going to send you out understeering, and you'll end up in the field. Just hold it, hold it. You see, I've got 90-degree lock on there. Now we're wanting to come in and go as close to the inside at 7 as we can. Then we go back out to get a nice wide entrance into turn 8 Church. We turn in, and we're going to use this full inside rumble strip that they've put there for us. And then we're going to use the outside one as well. That's where all the speed is on this lap. Final braking markers just before the 50. By the way, the first flying lap that I did here was a 110, and I thought, that is immense. That's not going to be beaten. And then I had a quick look and realized I needed to get to the mid 107s. So you can find the time, even if the first couple of laps that you do, you are kind of like thinking, what? This is not possible. It really is. You just might need to spend a bit of time doing it. I did. It took me nearly an hour of practice to put this one together. So braking marker, final one, the 50-meter board on the left. And this one, we brake up to about 75, 80%. We're going to try and wipe all that speed off in a straight line. I'm still steering. And what I'm wanting to do is cut this first curve. So you want to keep your left-hand tyre on the tarmac. So you're just mounting it with one tyre. And then we start getting back on the gas, tiny little down on the brakes again. And it's exactly the same again here. The inside tyre cutting the corner, the outside tyre staying on the track. And then exactly the same. We're up to full gas here before the final one. And then I just do a little lift as I'm going over the curb, because it is, if you do take too much curb, it is very easy to spin here. Then as the car settles down, get back up to 100%, and you're just blasting for the line. Right, we have one final version coming up next with the driving line on without me talking. Enjoy.